live class. All right. So आज हम क्या पढ़ने वाले हैं? What are we going to study today? Today we are going to focus on the organizations that were the foundational brick of Indian national movement. Before we jump on directly to the Indian national movement, it is very important to first understand organizations through the help of which this movement started. Till 1857, we studied that there was no unity, no proper consolidation, right? हमको पता था कि 1857 तक there was no central leadership, no unity, no consolidation. That is the reason, that is one of the reasons why 1857 basically was, not a successful revolt. It was suppressed easily because there was no central leadership, no proper intention or motivation. Everybody was fighting their own individual battles, right? There was no collectiveness. That is why the entire revolt came crashing down. But after 1857, Indians realized, Indians also gained the awareness. Dekho, from the failures, we need to learn what was the mistake from our side. If you are not able to crack a particular exam, there is no need to sit and cry over it. There is no need to do that. If you are doing that, if you have ever done that, remember that you were just, ignoring what I have to work on, and you were just sitting and grimming and complaining. वो नहीं करना. That we have to avoid. These exams, competitive exams or any other exam, and life, they are going to teach you only one thing, and that is you have to stop complaining. You are here to learn and progress. And how will you progress? When you will learn from your failures. A student who hasn't ever seen failure will never progress in life. He will reach a stagnation point. उससे ऊपर कुछ नहीं होगा. तो इसीलिए याद रखना, जब भी हारते हो किसी चीज में, वो हार मतलब the failure is not equivalent to your weakness. Your tears or you sitting and complaining all day, all night and whining, that is equivalent to weakness. Always remember, failures are your biggest stepping stone. They are ladders. Okay, so through failures, you have to understand what was wrong from our side. And then the next step would be a successful step. Similarly, revolt of 1857 was a failure, but it was success in disguise. Success के दो रूप होते हैं, एक तो success itself and एक failure. It was success in disguise because through this revolt, we understood our weaknesses. हमको समझ आ गया कि भाई हमारी weakness क्या है. And because of that, we started working upon ourselves by creating various different organizations against the Britishers. And different organizations were economical organizations, political, educational organizations, socio-religious organizations. So we were working on all the aspects on a human level. Through history, you need to understand analytically. You don't have to cram this dispatch, this organization, this policy. Don't cram like this. Understand the inner meaning. We are working on all fronts, whether it is emotional, economical, political, socio-religious, or education. So now Indians were aware, we don't have to just fight off Britishers and throw them away. They have, deepened their roots in India, and we have to fight them on all different aspects because they have destroyed our spirituality. They have destroyed and they have laughed at our Vedas, our education system, the way we dress, even the way we dress. It was a matter of you can say joke for the Britishers. जैसे हम साड़ी पहनते थे, धोती पहनते थे, they started removing the dhoti culture. Now on a very Western platform, if someone comes and wears dhoti, right, all of you, even Indians would laugh. Right? Some of the Indians, they would say, "Arey, it's a Western, platform and you are wearing dhoti." But that is our Indian attire. That was our Indian professional attire. Our gurus, teachers, different leaders, they used to wear their own traditional cultural attire. But the Britishers started making fun of it. So we had to fight the Britishers on all different fronts. So similarly, for that, we started creating different organizations. And today we are going to study those organizations. Today our target would be mostly political organizations because that would be a part of your Indian polity also. Okay, so if you all are ready, let me know in the comment section and then we'll begin our lecture. अगर यहाँ तक कोई problem नहीं है तो chat section में मुझे फटाफट से type करके बता दीजिए. Then हम अपना lecture start कर देंगे. यहीं से we are going to pick up our lecture. All right, everyone is ready? Chalo, sab ready. Vatsalya is saying ready. Saurabh is saying ready. Amritansh is saying ready. Vikas is saying yes. ऑल राइट, चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं देन आज का क्लास. एंड यू ऑल रिमेंबर द ड्रिल. You have to also keep making simultaneously the flow charts. And then I would ask any one of you to click a picture of that flow chart and upload it on the Telegram group. So I would be noticing each one of you. ठीक है? I would be noticing if you are making the flow charts or not. ठीक है? यहाँ तक पॉइंट क्लियर हो गया सभी को? चलो शुरू करते हैं देन आज का लेक्चर विदाउट एनी डिले. 9 स्टूडेंट्स आर ऑलरेडी इन द क्लास. ओनली 2-3 स्टूडेंट्स हैव नॉट जॉइंड येट. कोई बात नहीं, दे वुड वॉच द रिकॉर्डेड लेक्चर. बट आई वुड आस्क एंड रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू टू जॉइन द लाइव लेक्चर ओनली. In that way you get to get your queries solved at the end of the class. Now after completing the organizations that we are going to study, we'll take a 5-minute ka break and then we'll resume to other organizations. Okay? तो अभी पहला सेशन स्टार्ट हो रहा है क्लास का, जो कि अभी 30 मिनट्स तक या फिर 15 मिनट्स तक चलेगा. 15 मिनट्स बाद विल टेक अ शॉर्ट ब्रेक. ऑलराइट, लेट्स बिगिन देन. शुरू करते हैं लेक्चर अपना. सो वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी द ग्रोथ. वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी द ग्रोथ of political ideas and political organizations, and that we are going to study till 1885. Why 1885? Because here there would be one organization that would subsume all the other organizations, and that would be Indian National Congress. तो 1885 तक ही अभी हम क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं? क्योंकि 1885 में एक ऐसा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन निकल कर आता है जो इन सब पॉलिटिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को अपने अंदर समा लेता है. दिस INC, that is Indian National Congress, established in 1885, which you can say subsumes all the other organizations that were created before 1885. Okay, that is from 1857 से 1884 तक जितनी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस बनती है, they all get subsumed under INC. Okay. Now in mains, what kind of questions they can ask? They can ask the reason. वो आपसे क्या पूछ सकते हैं? The reason behind the formation of INC. This can be the first question that they can ask. Second type of question that they can ask is that there is a safety valve. There is a safety valve theory which is behind the formation of Indian National Congress. Explain this theory, and do you agree with this particular theory? तो ये आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछा जा सकता है. These are the two kinds of questions that can be asked when it comes to the Indian National Congress. And not just in mains, they can be asked in prelims also. They will give you 4 statements and they will ask regarding the reason behind formation of INC. Then they will ask you which one of them is or are correct. Similarly, they can give you statements on safety valve theory in prelims, and they can ask you which one of the following statements aptly justifies the safety valve theory. And they can ask you this question in prelims also. So these two questions are universal. That means they are both for mains also and prelims also. ये दो question बिल्कुल universal हैं और mains और prelims दोनों पे apply करते हैं. So first, we are going to create an introduction. If the question comes in mains, what kind of introduction we can start with? कैसे हम present कर सकते हैं? I always tell you in every class that introduction means you are giving a glimpse to the examiner of what you are going to write. ठीक है, आप क्या लिखने वाले हो, आप उसका एक झलक दे रहे हो examiner को. So here you will write that the Indian National Congress, the Indian INC mat likhna. That is why I'm writing the full form, because in mains you have to write and focus only on the full forms. These and will not be sufficient. Between, ye short form is not going to help you. ठीक है? And you have to write pura. Between, if you're writing, you have to write in full. ठीक है? So the Indian National Congress, it was formed in which year? Universal year है, हमको पता ही है, we all know about it, in 1885. If you can highlight the month also, that would be very great. December. Okay. However, you will start by writing, however, there were many political organizations. Now I am writing the short form, but you have to write the full form. Organizations, ठीक है? which were a precursor a precursor to INC. Now, what did I write? I wrote कि Indian National Congress, we know it was formed in 1885. You are asking a question on Indian National Congress. Yes, it was formed in 1885. So you are giving the hint to the examiner that you actually know the basic fact about Indian National Congress. आप एक hint दे रहे हो examiner को, देखो हमको पता है December 1885 में ये INC बना था. But you are also now trying to tell the examiner कि it is not just the Indian National Congress which was the first political organization which was created in India, or it is not just the INC about which we know. We also know that before INC was formed, there were other organizations also. हमको ये भी पता है कि जब INC फॉर्म हुआ था उससे पहले और organizations भी बनी है. So you are mentioning and letting the examiner know that there were many other political organizations also before INC. So they were the precursor to INC. Before INC, these organizations basically acted as a nudge towards the creation of INC. ठीक है, आप बार बार ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बना के एक नज दे रहे हो, पिन पॉइंट कर रहे हो, तब जाकर एक बड़ा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बन रहा है. ठीक है, so they were the precursor to INC that you are. So there are two good things that are going to happen. First, the examiner will be impressed that this student knows even what happened before the formation of INC. And second, you will give a very grand opening to your answer by sharing your knowledge over the formation of political organizations related to Indian national movement. Okay, दो चीजें आप यहाँ पर हो रही है, impress भी कर रहे हो एग्जामिनर को और अपना knowledge भी share कर रहे हो एग्जामिनर के साथ. ठीक है, एक grand introduction बनाकर. यहाँ तक point clear हो गया सभी को? All right, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now you will write that the political organizations in the early half of 19th century, here also full form you have to write. ठीक है, they were dominated by wealthy and aristocratic elements. ठीक है, so you are now hinting towards in this particular question you are hinting why INC was formed, because before INC was established there were different organizations but they were dominated by wealthy and aristocratic elements, and we know that the wealthy and aristocratic people, they were more inclined towards Britishers, right? तो उनका जो inclination था वो ज्यादा Britishers की तरफ था. That is why those organizations could not you can say stand for a longer period of time. ठीक है, इसीलिए INC बना. That is why INC came into the formation, because before INC those organizations were not very influential. They were not very much inclined towards the Indian national freedom movement. Okay, they were led by wealthy and aristocratic elements, local or regional in character. That means some organizations were only local in character. They were just looking after the local demands, individual demands. And through long petitions to the British Parliament, B means British Parliament, demanded administrative reforms, association of Indians with the administration and spread of education. So these were the common demands of those organizations which were created before INC. First, they were led by wealthy and aristocratic elements. ठीक है, एक तो wealthy लोग जो हैं और aristocratic लोग जो हैं वो उनके यहाँ पर कौन है, लीडर्स हैं. सो दे आर मोर इंक्लाइंड टुवर्ड्स ब्रिटिशर्स, वो तो सब ज्यादा से ज्यादा ब्रिटिशर्स की तरफ ही इंक्लाइंड है. ठीक है, एंड देन सम ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस दे वर लोकल और रीजनल इन कैरेक्टर. दैट मींस दे वर ओनली catering to local demands, regional demands, not catering to entire nation's demand. ठीक है, and through long petitions to the British Parliament. So they were not very active. Underline long petitions and write कि not very actively working. They were just submitting petitions to the Parliament, not protesting, not marching, not forcing the British Parliament to act on their demands. Just writing petitions, submitting and waiting for the petitions. ये सब हो रहा था, ठीक है। नॉट वेरी एक्टिव, यहाँ पर लिख लो इसको बॉक्स बना के, नॉट वेरी एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व्ड, not very actively involved, ठीक है। So one, leaders were not very, not in favor of Indians, they were more inclined to Britishers. Second, there was no unity of demands, of needs, long petition, not actively involved. And plus, what were their demands? That there should be administrative reforms, Indians should be associated with the administration also, education should be spread. But what education? Because of these demands, British education was spreading in India. Because of these demands, they were making more Indians join the administration, in making India a colonial territory of Britain. Okay, तो Indians का यूज करके इंडिया को कॉलोनी बनाया जा रहा था. They were using Indian people to build a colony out of India. And these organizations were not understanding how to politically remove Britishers out of the nation. This is the only reason why INC started forming. Okay, point clear हो गया यहाँ तक? So in the introduction itself, first you have made the examiner realize कि when INC was formed. Second, you have made the examiner realize कि before INC there were many other organizations, and those organizations, they were not very effective. Why? That also you have mentioned through 4 points in the introduction itself. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 line introduction. ठीक है, इतना ही होना चाहिए introduction. And you have now given a grand opening to your answer. Now in point format, we are going to write the reason behind the formation of INC. Okay, introduction समझ आया? Please let me in the chat section if you are satisfied with the introduction, if you have finally understood how introductions have to be formed. Let me know in the chat section. एक grand opening देना समझ आ गया आपको कैसे दिया जाता है? ठीक है, brief में you have summarized the entire answer only. What you are going to present in point format, you have just summarized it in 4 to 5 lines. Now, Sai in the class have to click a picture of the notes that he has taken so far and put it on the Telegram group. Sai and Saurabh. Saurabh has joined the lecture for the first time, the live lecture. Sai and Saurabh, take a picture of the note अभी जो तुमने बनाया है introduction का, and click it and send it on the Telegram group. Yes, Saurabh, what is your question? Let me know. Our lecture. तो अभी तक हमने इंट्रोडक्शन अच्छे से पढ़ लिया, ठीक है. नाउ कमिंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. नेक्स्ट पार्ट इज रीजंस. नेक्स्ट पार्ट हो जाता है आपका रीजंस व्हाई आईएनसी वाज एस्टैब्लिश्ड. रीजन व्हाई आईएनसी वाज एस्टैब्लिश्ड, क्यों आईएनसी को एस्टैब्लिश किया गया, इसके रीजंस पढ़ लेते हैं, ठीक है. सो देयर इज वन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रीजन, दैट इज safety valve theory. Very famous and very important reason, safety valve theory, ठीक है, which is known as SVT, safety valve theory. अब इसमें क्या बोला जाता है? I told you that the Britishers, basically this is a volcano, ठीक है, this is a volcano. When the lava is putting a pressure, then what happens? It bursts out from the volcano. That is, the ashes and the lava, they come out through a particular channel. ठीक है, एक चैनल के थ्रू आते हैं. सो दिस बेसिकली इज अ सेफ्टी वॉल्व कि यू आर चैनलाइजिंग समथिंग थ्रू अ पर्टिकुलर वॉल्व. एक वॉल्व के थ्रू आप किसी चीज को चैनलाइज कर रहे हो. सिमिलरली द ब्रिटिशर्स सॉ द एस्टैब्लिशमेंट ऑफ मेनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, पॉलिटिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आफ्टर 1857. And now the Indians were getting politically aware. They were, some of them were educated also. So Indians सब क्या हो रहे थे? Politically aware हो रहे थे. Britishers knew it. And if you are a colonial master, ठीक है, let's say you guys are colonial masters, you are Britishers. If you want to conquer a particular territory, you will try to conquer the minds of the people first. Once the minds of the people are conquered, you can then conquer their land also. एक बार उनका दिमाग conquer कर लोगे तो जमीन भी conquer कर लोगे, right? Now what happens when you are preparing for UPSC now? There are different books, different advertisement, different coaching institutes. Now what they do? They play with your mind first. They will release red books, blue books, black books. They will say कि 90% of the questions came from our red books or blue books. Coaching centers, they would launch batches. They would say, bhai, 23 toppers of 2022 were from our batch. ठीक है, 110 toppers were from our batch. So they are playing with your mind. They are not playing, they are not making you understand something. They are playing with your mind. Okay. And once they play with your mind and they conquer your mind, you will join their coaching, you will purchase their, moti books. Then what will happen? They will trap you completely for 1 year. फिर क्या होगा? एक बार आपका माइंड कॉन्कर कर लिया, फिर 1 साल के लिए आप उनके हो गए. सेम थिंग्स वर यूटिलाइज्ड बाय ब्रिटिशर्स ऑल्सो. सेम चीजें ब्रिटिशर्स ने भी यूटिलाइज किया. ठीक है. क्या किया कि भाई दे क्रिएटेड they knew कि भाई Britishers, these Indians are getting discontent politically. Write it down. Indians, they were getting discontented politically. ठीक है. And when they were getting dissatisfied politically, what happened? The Britishers helped them create or establish an organization, political organization, you can write political organization in the form of INC, so that through this particular organization they can direct or channelize their aspirations. ठीक है. यहां तक पॉइंट क्लियर हो गया सभी को कि इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के थ्रू वो क्या करेंगे? अपने पॉलिटिकल एस्पिरेशंस को चैनलाइज कर लेंगे. दे विल बी एबल टू राइट इट डाउन सो दैट they will be able to channelize their political aspirations. And all the other political organizations which were created, they were merged into this INC. So all the other political leaders joined INC, and together collectively they used INC as a platform to channelize their political aspirations. ठीक है. तो उन्होंने आईएनसी को सभी पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स ने यूज किया अपनी एस्पिरेशंस को चैनलाइज करने के लिए. सो हियर यू कैन अगेन इन अ क्लीन फॉर्मेट यू कैन ड्रॉ दिस फ्लो चार्ट. ठीक है. वाई INC created. एक जल्दी से माइंड मैप बना लो. क्रिएट अ माइंड मैप फटाफट से. Why INC was created. ठीक है. First, the safety valve theory. The safety valve theory. Either you can write A.O. Hume, the retired. यहां पर आप लिखोगे he was a retired British civil servant. रिटायर्ड ब्रिटिश सिविल सर्वेंट. ठीक है. इन्होंने क्या किया? हेल्प इंडियन पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स टू चैनलाइज देयर political aspirations by, या फिर by establishing, यहां मत लिखो. ठीक है. by establishing Indian National Congress in 1885. ये फ्लो माइंड मैप सबने बना लिया तो जल्दी से बताओ. इफ दिस माइंड मैप इज क्रिएटेड लेट मी नो. ठीक है. लेट मी नो इन द चैट सेक्शन. माइंड मैप बना लिया हो तो. ऑल राइट. बना लिया सबने माइंड मैप. अब इसी के अंदर इन दिस ओनली यू हैव टू ऐड कि देयर वर डिफरेंट लीडर्स हु सपोर्टेड दिस सेफ्टी वॉल्व थ्योरी एंड क्रिएशन ऑफ INC. So here the second reason why INC was created, because political leaders also agreed to it. ऐसा नहीं है कि political leaders agree नहीं कर रहे. अगर if the political leaders would not have agreed for the creation of one political organization, then it would not have been established. But because all the famous leaders agreed to this theory, this particular organization was established. So here you can write, ऐसे star बनाकर you can write that even the extremist leaders like Lala लाजपत राय बिलीव्ड इन दिस थ्योरी. उन्होंने भी इस थ्योरी में बिलीव किया था. बिलीव्ड इन दिस theory. That is why famous leaders supported this theory, and that is why this theory was successful in creating the Indian National Congress. Okay. Now coming on to the second reason why this Indian National Congress was created. Write it down. Expression of Indian demands. Expression of Indian demands. So this particular organization was an expression, was a representation of Indian demands. So यहाँ पर most of the historians, they said that this Indian National Congress, the Indian National Congress was basically, write it down, represented the urge of politically conscious Indians to set up a national body. This is not a regional body, not a local body, but a national body. ठीक है? Why? To express what? To express first their political demands, and second their economic demands. ठीक है? Point clear हो गया यहाँ तक? Now, if you have created this particular flowchart or mind map, please take a picture and post it on our Telegram group. जल्दी से अभी के अभी. अगर आपने ये लिख लिया है, क्रिएट कर लिया है, तो इसकी एक पिक्चर लेकर फटाफट से ग्रुप पर क्या करना है, आपको शेयर करना है अभी फटाफट. शेयर ऑन द ग्रुप. क्लियर हो गए? Let me know if the points are clear till this particular page. यहाँ तक points clear है? So we have understood the reason why INC was created. हमने ये पढ़ लिया है कि reason क्या है, INC क्यों create किया गया. These were the reasons. Write it down in bracket. Okay, now when something is created, there must be objectives also, because when Britishers came to India, the objective was to trade and make profit. Okay, when they started interfering into our administration, the objective was to rule India. That similarly, when INC was created, there must have been some objective. कोई objective तो हुआ होगा. That is why INC was created. So now we are going to study. अब हम यहाँ पर पढ़ने वाले हैं the objectives of creating this particular organization. There are two different words, reasons and objectives. Reasons means why it was created. Objective means what purpose will it fulfill. ठीक है, तो write it down. Reason का मतलब होता है basic why. कि भाई the reason why you are studying to give exam. ठीक है, basic why you are studying, not to become something but to first give this exam. ठीक है, the reason why you are studying is to first prepare for this exam. The objective why you are studying is, objective क्या है, what is the meaning why you are studying? To be a civil servant. है ना? तो ये दो different, मतलब words sound same but the meaning is different, the representation is different. Reason means basic why you are studying, because you need to give an exam after 2-3 months. Objective, because you need to become a civil servant. Similarly, the reason here why it was created, to channelize the emotions of Indians and to give them an expression. Objective यहाँ पर क्या आ जाएगा? Write it down. लिखो, first objective is Pan India organization. Pan India, pan मतलब होता है all India organization. This was the first basic objective behind creating this particular organization, to establish a democratic, nationalist movement. ठीक है, थ्रू अ पैन इंडिया ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. तो इस तरीके से लिख दो थ्रू अ पैन इंडिया ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। तो इस तरीके से पहला ऑब्जेक्टिव हमें समझ आ गया। दिस इज द फर्स्ट ऑब्जेक्टिव दैट वी हैव अंडरस्टूड। First objective was because abhi tak we had fought so many wars against the Britishers and still we were not able to remove them from our nation. Why? Because people were not together. They had different motives. Individual battles were being fought, and there was no, particular leadership. Okay, no particular platform where they can come together and fight. But here, through the establishment of INC, the objective was that one movement should be created, which would be a nationalist democratic movement, through a particular organization, through a particular platform, which would give voice to all the leaders in India, not just leaders of North India or South India or East India or West India, all the leaders of India. That is why Pan India organization had to be created. First reason समझ आ गया. Coming on to the second important reason. तो यहाँ पर हो जाएगा, second reason would be politicize and politically educate people. This is the second reason why the organization was created. The second objective was because we knew, the leaders knew, people are not even aware of what politics is. Abhi tak to we were being ruled by kings and queens, but there was no democracy, right? There was monarchical rule in India. Now these Britishers came, they started colonizing India. So people are not basically educated politically. They are educated in all other aspects, but not political aspects. So to politically educate people, to make them understand what politics is and how through politics you can gain freedom, this organization was created. So here you will write कि this is Congress. ठीक है, ये तो आपको पता है ना, कांग्रेस है. ठीक है, तो this is कांग्रेस का hand. So here Congress basically aimed to increase awareness about colonial exploitative policies and political rights of people. So people should know what their political rights are. They should be aware of what, these Britishers are doing, how they are exploiting Indians politically through their policies, right? So to spread that awareness, this particular organization was created. This is the second objective. Now, third objective would be to promote nationalism. The third and the very important objective, to promote nationalism. This is the third objective why this particular organization was created. Because people had to develop a feeling of national unity. In 1857, there was no feeling of national unity. 1857 में no feeling, 1857 revolt, no feeling of national unity. People were fighting their own individual battles. Mangal Pandey was complaining that you are trying to disturb and disrespect our religion, right? Rani Lakshmibai of Jhansi was fighting for her own rights, for the rights of her own, state, land, right? So there were different individual battles which were going on. National unity was not there. So that is why, to promote nationalism, that India from north to south, from east to west, to bring them on one particular platform, right? And to make them understand what a nation is, irrespective of your religion, caste or province. We have to fight for our nation. To promote that feeling, the INC was created. So yahan par you can write, to develop and consolidate a feeling of national unity, among people, irrespective of religion, caste or province. This organization was established. This was the objective of this organization. तो यहां तक 3 पॉइंट्स आपको अगर समझ आ गए हो तो फटाफट से मुझे कमेंट सेक्शन में बताओ, चैट सेक्शन में फटाफट से बताओ। इफ यू हैव ड्रॉन दिस माइंड मैप एंड यू हैव अंडरस्टूड द difference between reason and objective and you have understood the objectives of this organization, let me know in the chat section फटाफट से। ओके, समझ आ गया यहां तक? चलो, वेरी वेरी गुड। यहां तक कोई डाउट तो नहीं है किसी को? लेट मी नो। ऑल राइट, अब हम लोग क्या पढ़ेंगे? बिफोर इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस वाज क्रिएटेड, बिफोर INC was created, what were the different organizations? For example, write down the first society or organization which was created was the Landholders Society. This was the first, society which was created before 1857. Sorry, before INC was created. So यहाँ पर हम point बनाने वाले हैं अपने 1838 Zamindari Association was created. 1838 Zamindari Association, it was created, which was also known as the Landholder Society, aka means also known as the Landholder Society. ठीक है? Why it was created? अब इसको क्यों create किया गया? Now these organizations are important for prelims as well as mains. ठीक है? Why it was created? To safeguard is a better word instead of to protect. ठीक है? These are the small vocabulary terms that you need to inculcate in your answer writing also. To safeguard the interest of landlords. That is why the name is Landlord Society. Landlord means the owner of the lands. ठीक है? तो जो जमींदार लोग हैं उनके इंटरेस्ट को ब्रिटिशर्स के अगेंस्ट बचाने के लिए, प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए लैंड होल्डर सोसाइटी क्रिएट किया गया। ठीक है? नाउ दिस लैंड होल्डर सोसाइटी वाज नॉट अ कंप्लीट सक्सेस, राइट इट डाउन, not a complete success. Why it was not a complete success? क्यों? The reason is, write it down, because of limited objectives. इसका जो ulterior motive था वो बहुत limited था, limited objective. Now see, there are two kinds of students. ठीक है? दो students होते हैं. First student is who is preparing for UPSC for fame, for recognition, for rubbing his or her success off in the face of his or her relatives or girlfriend or boyfriend who broke up with them. ठीक है? or money, or just to acquire lands and properties and be in the good books of ministers. And there are second kind of students who are preparing for UPSC because they have seen struggles in their life. They have seen how they have fought for education, basic amenities. So they want to improve the life of those who are right now struggling in, with basic amenities. They want to fulfill the aspirations of the downtrodden part of the society. They want to do something for the younger generation. Okay, who are struggling with their education or who are dealing with addiction right now, who are into all kind of addictions. They want to help them, rehabilitate them through their position as a civil servant. Who do you think would be a success? Let me know in the chat section. आपको क्या लगता है इन दोनों में से सफलता, यूनिवर्सल सफलता या यूनिवर्सल फेम किसको मिलेगी? The student 1 or student B? The second student, right? दूसरे स्टूडेंट को मिलेगी ना, जो अपने से पहले दूसरों के बारे में सोच रहा है, who's thinking about others before himself. That person would get the real success, the real name and fame. Okay, who thinks about others before thinking about himself. है ना? So similarly here, the landholder society, they were also a failure. Why? Because of their limited objective. Their vision was very small. They were just thinking about their own interest. Okay, why limited objective? Because it covered demands of landlords only. That is why. Because they were just thinking about themselves, not the nation, not the peasants, not the farmers who were being exploited by the Britishers. That is why this society was not a success. It was a failure because they were not thinking about others. They were just concerned about their own grievances. ठीक है? सेकेंड इंपॉर्टेंट सोसाइटी यहां पर क्या आती है? द बंगाल ब्रिटिश इंडिया सोसाइटी. This is the second society. Now, this society comes in 1843. This is political, organization. Now, what was the objective of this particular society? इसका objective क्या था? So, the objective was, write it down, collection and dissemination or spread. Dissemination means spread. Collection and spread of information relating to actual condition of people of British India. So this society was more, yes, it was a political society, but it was more on just creating awareness. So it was not working actively on the field, it was just spreading awareness. Okay, तो यहाँ पर आप लिख सकते हो why it was not a very huge success, because it was just to spread awareness, nothing else. ठीक है, how lives of people were in during the British rule. Under the British rule लोगों की लाइफ कैसी चल रही थी, बस उस अवेयरनेस को स्प्रेड करने के लिए सोसाइटी को बनाया गया. इट वाज मोर ऑफ अ रिसर्च काइंड ऑफ सोसाइटी विच वाज क्रिएटेड. ठीक है, तो ये आपका हो गया बंगाल ब्रिटिश इंडिया सोसाइटी. लेट मी नो इफ यू हैव नोटेड दिस डाउन सो दैट वी कैन मूव फॉरवर्ड. अगर आप लोगों ने ये नोट डाउन कर लिया हो तो चैट सेक्शन में मुझे बताएं ताकि मैं स्लाइड चेंज कर सकूं, सो दैट आई कैन चेंज द स्लाइड. ऑल राइट, नाउ कमिंग ऑन टू द थर्ड काइंड ऑफ सोसाइटी. अब आते हैं हम अपनी थर्ड सोसाइटी पे. सो व्हाट इज द थर्ड सोसाइटी? द थर्ड सोसाइटी इज द ब्रिटिश इंडियन एसोसिएशन. The British Indian Association of Calcutta. These are very important for prelims. Why they were a failure and what were their objectives and in which year it was formed. तो ये तीन चीजें जो मैं ऐसे, why am I creating these kind of flowcharts? Year, reason why it was established, why it was not a complete success, so that during revision you can revise for prelims also. ठीक है, prelims में only these kind of questions they will ask regarding societies. ठीक है, year and reason of formation. British Indian Association of Calcutta. Now this society got established in 1851 and it was a kind of a merger. Merger of what? Merger of the Bengal British India Society. Just now we studied about it. The Bengal British India Society, ये वाली, ठीक है, which was created in 1843, and the Landholders Society. The Landholders Society, ये वाली, ठीक है. 1838 and 1843 these two societies were merged into British Indian Association of Calcutta in 1851. ठीक है, and why it was created? क्यों इसको create किया गया? Write it down. To convey the Indian grievances to the British government. ठीक है, तो basically it wanted to take the problems of Indian people towards the British government in the hope that British government would listen to Indian people and their needs and aspirations and would administer India accordingly. ठीक है, for example there were different duties, salt duty, stamp duty, to and people were aggrieved because of these duties. So that is why the society was created, so that Britishers would listen to us. ठीक है, ताकि ब्रिटिशर्स हमसे थोड़ा बहुत सुने, हमारी बात को समझें. Coming on to the fourth important society, which was the Deccan Association. The Deccan Association, 1852, the very next year, 1852. Now we know that this British Indian Society was created by merging Bengal British India Society and Landholder Society. So this society was only confined to Bengal region. ये सोसाइटी सिर्फ बंगाल रीजन तक ही कन्फाइंड थी. इट वाज नॉट अ पैन इंडिया सोसाइटी, जस्ट लाइक इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस वाज अ पैन इंडिया ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ना. सो दिस वाज जस्ट अ सोसाइटी कन्फाइंड टू ओनली बंगाल. ये बंगाल तक ही सीमित थी. ठीक है, सो ब्रिटिश इंडिया एसोसिएशन ऑफ कैलकाटा वाज कन्फाइंड ओनली टू बंगाल. बट The secretary of this society was देवेंद्रनाथ ठाकुर. इस सोसाइटी के जो सेक्रेटरी थे वो कौन थे? देवेंद्रनाथ ठाकुर. He was the secretary. ठीक है, he was the secretary. He was not happy with the kind of work his society was doing. The limitedness of his society. इनकी सोसाइटी कितनी सीमित थी, ये खुश नहीं थे उससे. So what he did, he wanted to expand. He wanted to expand his association. ठीक है, ये अपने एसोसिएशन को एक्सपैंड करना चाहते थे. एज द एम ऑफ ब्रिटिश इंडिया एसोसिएशन वाज टू मेक रिप्रेजेंटेशंस फ्रॉम एवरी पार्ट ऑफ ब्रिटिश इंडिया. So in 1852 he further expanded the British Indian Association Society. तो ये इसका expanded form है, expanded form or expanded version of British Indian Association of Calcutta, the Deccan Association, established in 1852 with the efforts of Devendranath Thakur. Okay, यहाँ तक point clear हो गया? And it was established at Pune, डेक्कन रीजन में, पूना में इसको स्टैब्लिश किया गया. बट दिस वाज आल्सो नॉट अ सक्सेस. ये भी एक सक्सेस नहीं था. व्हाई वाज इट नॉट अ सक्सेस? बिकॉज it could not fulfill the objective of sending any mission or petition for suggesting reforms. The basic objective of creating the society was to suggest reforms to the British government regarding the problems that Indians are facing. But this society also could not raise its voice, could not make its voice reach to the British government. It failed in that mission. कोई petition या कोई representation ये British government तक, British parliament तक भेज ही नहीं पाई. इसलिए this society was also a failure. Okay, यहाँ तक point clear हो गया? तो please let me know in the chat section. All right, point is clear. So your part 1 of class 7. आज class 7th है and ये part 1 है उसका. Okay, now if you have any doubts you can ask me in the chat section. All your doubts have been solved. We are wrapping up the session now. Session को wrap up कर रहे हैं. We'll meet in the next class. कल हमारी next class होगी, उसमें मिलते हैं. ठीक है? So good night everyone. Thank you for participating in the lecture tonight.